Hi, welcome back to Inner Peace Place. I'm Karen. Today's lesson is lesson number 18, titled The Busy Mind. The premise of all this work, again, is that the personality self makes decisions based in our past successes and failures, whatever. Soul self decisions are made in this moment. And the goal with this work is to learn to combine those two awarenesses that we have. So the busy mind, we all have this. At least I don't think I've ever met anybody that didn't. I'm sure there are some, but as a rule, we usually think perpetually without any type of control over our brain. I don't think we were taught as children to be still. Most of us were not. There's no value placed on that. So we didn't learn this habit. So what we're trying to do today is to say, if you are perpetually in a state of thinking about the future, you're not in the moment to connect with the beauty that you have around you. And it is a consuming habit. Some people imagine something about to happen and they just get it all in their head, they get all their solar plexus, their heart's racing. I mean, you can really get creative with this stuff. And if you do that a lot, it becomes your energy. It becomes what you take into the situation that you're so afraid of or so anxious about or so excited about. I mean, you can take happy, uplifting energy into a situation just like you can take downward flowing energy. So with this, we're talking about the negative spiral energies that you can create, fluff up a little bit, because you're consumed with a thought about something that's about to happen. One of the things you want to do is think about a time you did that, and then step back and say, did it even happen that bad? Was it that overwhelming? Did that occur? Or did it kind of flow through? So in other words, you want to evaluate what you've done in the past. Your habit of being overwhelmed with the situation as you walked into it, and then analyze if it really was as bad as you thought it was going to be. The reason you want to do that is that we need to step back and look at the fact that many times our ego personality self just gets crazy with stuff that's about to happen. And things didn't turn out that bad. So let's step back with that habit and say, we want to be more in the moment with our thoughts instead of a rambling head, a busy head. A busy head doesn't bring you inner peace. The ego enjoys the energy, the buildup of energy to keep it happy, to make it feel alive. And when things are flowing, it doesn't recognize that as a good thing. It sees energy that's rather boring, rather mundane. And so what we want to teach ourselves is that a busy mind and the energy that's connected to it isn't the goal anymore. When you are in a state of busyness, you are not in a state of observing. And when you are not observing, you're not aware of the connection that you have to glean any information that you might be able to get for that moment. A peace-filled person allows situations to come and go. In other words, they don't attach a lot of energy to past or future. They focus more on what's going on inside them at this moment. And when they're not happy with what they're feeling or hearing, then that's when they get to work. They work on it. They shift the energies so that they can feel the peace that they deserve. So when you are in the busy head and you're in the middle of an activity, you cannot properly handle what's going on because you're distracted. You're somewhere else. One of the things I like to say is that if I break a fingernail, I know I wasn't in the moment. Or if I drop something or bump into something and get a big bruise on my hip because I was walking through and I just wasn't in the moment, I was doing this in my head. So you can ask for awarenesses of when you're not in the moment, and that teaches you how often every single day we do this. Our brain just gets crazy busy. And it's a waste of energy because it really isn't giving us any positive outcome. It's pulling away from our inner peace. So when you have a rambling thought, a busy mind, just observe it. Don't try to stop it. Just be like an outsider, like a person watching a tennis match. Just observe, no judgment, and watch what it does. Watch what it feels like. Once you become aware of the feelings of perpetual thinking or being busy in the head, then you can be more aware of when it occurs. Again, you don't want to push this stuff out of your awareness. You don't want to say, stop, because that just kind of gets it excited. It wants to do it more, right? It's kind of like when you try to meditate and your brain goes, same thing. You're walking down the stairs and you trip. It was because your brain was somewhere else. Now, it's not that you need to stare at every single step so you don't fall, but you need to be in awareness of what's going on. Your brain is slower. Your brain is in the moment. You can always ask for help to do this. You can make a connection and say, you know, I've really had a busy brain for the last hour, 2 hours, 3 days, whatever, and I would like to become more in the moment. And as you go forward with this work, you'll notice that you are able to reconnect faster and faster, more thoroughly, become more aware of your connection more thoroughly. You want to break a cycle. This cycle that we have of busyness is what we're trying to say, I no longer appreciate a busy mind. I want to be in the moment when I make big decisions. I want to be in a moment when I'm walking down the stairs, when I'm cooking in the kitchen, enjoying what I'm doing. If I'm outside gardening, I want to be in the moment. Anytime you are in the moment, you have a state of inner peace. And that's what all of this work is after. I choose to live my entire life in a state of peace, and that starts with small increments that build up over time. And actually, once you get this habit going, it does start a little quicker. It's not like this is a 5-year plan. This is something that we can work on, and the more energy you put into it now, then the benefit comes later. So redirecting your thoughts is a good idea. So if you feel consumed by something that's really bothering you from the past and you keep feeling down about it, find something that a thought or a vision or a place, go walk into a different room when you're being consumed by some negative thoughts that you have, especially if they're ingrained into your beingness. They're sticky. They don't want to leave. And so you need to treat them with respect, but also with firmness, and just say, you know, no, let's not do that. And you can change your position in the house or your room in the house, or perhaps what you're doing, or visualize something that does bring you joy. The spiritual warrior that I'm talking about, the person that obtains inner peace, is aware of their thoughts. And the reason we need to be aware of our thoughts without judgment is that we know that going forward, our life path is created by thoughts. And so if you're continually in a downward spiral thinking, that's what you're going to create. If you stop and say, ooh, I don't want to do that, and you fluff up your energy or bring in some joy or take a breath and become aware of your connection, then your path slowly nudges into a more joyful place. I hope you've enjoyed these talks and that you resonate with some of this. Join us again in the next talk, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.